It's 2 DVDs. It's got this one, which is the movie, and then this one is the some more things that happened. So this is like the deleted scenes and stuff.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, there's like an hour and a half of deleted scenes, which I haven't seen yet.
Big little package.
And then so it has credits, pages of the book. It has the let me see if I can find it. There's an interview which I forgot about. I gotta go through and read that.
That would be fun.
And then there's a drawing he does. This is the restoration process that they did, or the remaster process. And then David drew a little thing of it. I heard the remaster's good, but it's not. The colors aren't as vibrant. And one of my favorite things about the first movie, or about the original of this, is that the colors are like ugly. It makes it feel like a bad home movie. But then it's like the most horrifying thing.
They increased the vibrancy of the film, is what you're saying?
No, they decreased it. They decreased the color, like they desaturated it.
Strange.
Which I don't know. It's not as I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, so I haven't seen. But I love how ugly the original is.
It's just something you find is part of the process that you dedicated the 2 pages of the script at the morning, and then who shot it in the day.
Yeah. That's how he does it.
Well, I'm asking.
For me,
is this something you would do? Because you've been, like I said, Slapdash.
Yes.
And I don't mean that in any way insulting.
No, you know what my band name is, right?
Slapdash?
Slapdash Punchline.
I didn't know that at all.
It is. When you said that about my guitarist, I wasn't sure. I was like, what are you referencing right now? But no, that's the name of my band.
I'm just speaking the truth right now, and you're putting in my truth. You're living my truth.
Yeah. I would. But I think I wouldn't do that for a first movie. I'd rather know what I'm doing a bit more. Because I think part of the reason the movie worked so well is because the people he was working with, that movie's mostly Laura Dern, right?
Yes.
And she trusts him, like, with her life, basically.
Yes.
So I feel like when she came in and David was like, yo, I got 1 page of dialogue for you today, no idea where this is going to go. She was like, I trust that this is going to be amazing. Like, he could get performances out of people because they were like, he knows he's gonna catch himself.
Yes.
You know? So I feel like he could only make this movie after he had that.
Well, he's able to make that movie after he's gone through the process, like the traditional Hollywood process.
Yes.
People know he can do what needs to be done, but people also know that he has enough of a feeling that he can go off of the soul and grit of the project's spirit.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Oh, for sure. You know, he's done it all. He did, he's done, before this movie came out, like, he's done, he did Rabbits, he did Eraserhead, but he also did, like, The Straight Story and Elephant Man.
Well, yes. Which are both incredible.
The Elephant Man is one of the saddest movies I've ever seen.
It's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
It's incredible. That scene where, I think I almost cried in the scene where all the guys come into Joseph Merrick's bedroom and, like, dance around him and, like, use him as, like, a prop. God, it's so upsetting.
But you say sad, but I would say one of the most humanist projects I've ever seen.
I would agree. I would totally agree.
There are people who would look at the main character of that movie, and say that is a Frankenstein's monster of real life.
Yeah.
Or like an interpretation on that story.
Yeah.
I probably said that to you myself.
No, it's sad just because of his life is sad.
Yes.
But I agree, it's incredibly beautiful. That scene of how he finally, like, finds beauty at the opera, and he's like, people accept me. People can see that I love beauty and I can exist in society, so to speak.
Yes.
That movie's amazing. It's been a while since I've seen it.
What if I were to tell you I can't hold a job?
That would suck.
what would you do? You have advice for me,
Do I have advice for you?
or are you tuned in right now?
No. Well, why can't? Do you know why you can't hold a job? Like, do you know like what like turns you off from having or is it of outside forces and you are trying to?
Well, that complicates things because there are things that I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I did very well in both semesters of my school this year, and that's something I succeeded in. But there are things that you're doing that I would not be able to do. Even though I have done them, you actually did them and followed through, is what I would rather say. You have the good head shape, you've got a big brain in there, and you have both of these qualities, and yet you also are able to do things where they don't want you to be using that big brain of yours. You're able to do the menial tasks while also retaining your artistic art. Very, very lively form too.
Thank you. Yes, yeah, I get what you mean with like the being able to do the menial stuff.
I don't think that everything I've ever done is menial. I just think that it happens to me where being around these people and being given these tasks, I'm not going to be able to just act like a person. It's maybe more extreme in my case than most, where I can only do this menial task or think about how to act like a person in this moment.
I get what I definitely understand what you're saying. It's hard. Something I've done is because I mean I'm not always great at doing everything. I still struggle a lot with a lot of things. But I guess the best thing that I can think to relate to this is when I was when I decided to when I was listening to a lot of music business podcasts about how to what to do when you have to advertise for your band or when you want to if that's something you want to do, right?
Yeah.
And they kept talking about you just gotta batch, you just gotta do all this content, you gotta show these things, like there's so much stuff you gotta do that's like people in bands don't necessarily want to do, right? Like you just want to make the art. You don't want to have to do this more business side to things. And I remember my thought was like, well, I would like to advertise some stuff because I think it would be nice to have more of a fan base. And that is something that I would enjoy. But I was like, how am I going to do it in a way that feels fulfilling for me? So so originally I started just doing TikToks for a little bit, and they were fun. They were fine, but it wasn't artistically fulfilling, and it wasn't fulfilling the aesthetic and image that I had for the band project that I wanted to do, right? Because I have like an idea for it.
Yes. This is like the long form videos that you have been doing, or the vlog really, are part of the image.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I did. I was like, okay, well I have all these ideas for I don't like just going out and advertising, like going on TikTok and just being like, yo, check out this sick song I made. Like that feels disingenuous to me.
That's true.
And it doesn't feel, not that some of my friends do it. Fucking go for it. Like, awesome. If it works for you, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work for the image that I want to set forth, right? So, but I still want to make video content, and I was like, I'm not against talking about my music, but I want to do it in a way that feels right to me.
Slapdash conspiracy?
Sure.
Is that what? Are you confirming that I'm saying the correct thing?
No, Slapdash Punchline.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Slapdash conspiracy is fun. I like that though.
Okay. Continue.
But anyway, so what I realized that I was gonna do is like, okay, if I have these vlogs, I can talk about my music in these vlogs, which I do. Sometimes I'm like, hey, this is what I'm working on right now. or I can be like whatever, right? I can do things that are a bit more just blatant me talking about a project.
Yeah.
But in the same video, I can also do like a weird like horror thing if I wanted to. Like I could do something that's a bit more not necessarily experimental, but you know what I mean. Like not necessarily.
You're allowed to do whatever you want. And
yes.
If it happens to be influenced by this specifically, like experimental filmmaking, then
yes.
that's just speaking to your truth. Maybe.
Yes, exactly. And because it's in one long video, I can do all the things that I want, and then also occasionally be like, "Hey, I make music. Check this out," or whatever. Like it's. I looked at what I had to do to advertise for my band, and I kind of shaped it in a way where it could be something that still felt really good to me.
I do think that really does call out to your audience, and like all aspects of it would meet them in a conducive way.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But the reason I'm bringing this up is for like job stuff.
Yes.
Like you find the things that you have to do, and you try to bend them a little bit in your way, but still getting the stuff done. If that makes sense.
Oh wait, this actually, since you did mention about the job stuff, this reminds me of something I want to mention to you, which is a funny thing that I was doing last year, which was that I was very desperate to actually be able to do what I want in relation to not having a job and then going back to school. Before I went back to school, I sent a lot of emails to a lot of different people. German 985, iDubbbz.
Okay.
Who else? Ego Raptor. The Ego Raptor one was like not related to the other ones.
Yeah.
Ego Raptor was the only one where it wasn't like a negative thing, where I was like trying to ask for employment. I was like sending job ideas, like video ideas to these people, and like, I want to make a television show. Help me, you interesting person who has good ideas.
Yeah.
Because I have good ideas, and I do not have successes. And I would be willing to share my failures with you. Ego Raptor was a different one where I told him, hey, stop being suicidal. I love you, and I would appreciate if you were doing well. Because you are doing well.
Yeah.
I myself could be doing well.
Yeah.
I'm telling you this now because it's just like something that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
And I don't really talk about this because these are just failures in my past. They accentuate the failures that I have experienced. And my job history is another extension of my failures. But I still have successes in the creative work that I do.
I think it is very hard to truly fail at something. I think even in jobs, even when it's jobs that you had and you don't have anymore, I think every single thing is something you learn and something you grow from. So maybe you fail in the sense that you don't still have that job or you didn't keep it for a long time. But you succeed in the fact that you got a job, you did the job for a little bit, and you learned something from it to go forth. So they are successes in a way. You just have to frame them differently.
I don't want to talk down to that because that's a very positive thing you're saying. And I love to see positivity in this world. But I will talk down to that.
Please, no, I want you to be honest about it.
Because those things happen very regularly in my life. And maybe you have been trained. Maybe you have, I don't want to say it like that. Maybe you who know that successes are something that we have happen on a daily basis. And maybe there are failures as well on a daily basis.
Yeah.
I can't say that I don't see either of those things as like legitimate because to see the failures in my life, I have to acknowledge that there are successes. Maybe to try and negate that in either direction would be very rude of me to do. But at the end of the day, to gain something and then lose something, what have I netted out? Nothing. Well, even if I did succeed at first and lost now,
Mm-hmm.
where am I now? Where I started. Is that a terrible thing? I wasn't in a bad place to begin with.
I would still say you're not where you are, because now you're going to therapy, you're working on a second college degree, you're working at a camp with STEM. That's in a different place.
Those are different things in my life.
Those, right? The things you enjoy.
Those are things I enjoy.
So you can count that as a success?
I'm not really worried about being in a negative mindset.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing these things to you.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's, and I hope I'm not crossing into it, because there's, toxic positivity, being too positive is a bad thing.
I don't see that as a. What even is that?
That's when you're, I don't know, when you're there's a way to be too positive and not see that there are bad things, or acknowledge them, and then it's unhealthy. And I want to make sure I'm not doing that.
Well, I could tell you there's a way to look past the good things in life too.
I'm aware.
That's just as big a problem, if not bigger.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, that's how I lived most of my life.
Just live in reality, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I mean, it's framing things. I mean, that's what so much of life is. It's about framing things. Like, as I said, I started working out, started practicing piano, started doing Spanish. Those were like the three main things that I was doing. I was rocking with all, cleaning my room. 4. I was doing all those things. I stopped doing pretty much all those things. Yeah. Right? Because I got burnt out. And I could, I could like look at that as a failure, but it's not. I mean, I didn't succeed, but I'm still moving. Mm-hmm. Success. Like, I tried something and I realized, all right, it didn't work. I gotta retry it. I gotta retry it in a different way.
You could retry these things in a different way. You could try something new.
Exactly.
And you've done that too.
Yes.
And I've done that too.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm trying to say with just like, I don't know. I think, and maybe I'm projecting my past self or whatever. But I don't know. It's just I think it's easy to look at things like not keeping down as many jobs or anything like you mentioned, and kind of look at that in a negative way and have it hinder your goals in a future sense.
Well, you like where you are right now.
I do. Could be better.
Where do you want to be next?
There's a lot of places I would like to be next. I would like to be making a bit more money. Because I'm not making a lot at all. Mm-hmm. I would like to. My goal for music, I would love to have a band. I'd love to be regularly playing. I'd love to have a bigger fan base. I'd love to at least make a part-time income from my work. That'd be really cool for my creative stuff.
That seemed really strange when you mentioned it earlier.
What?
You have this album complete.
Yeah.
You have Slapdash Punchline. You don't have an actual band though. What do you mean by that? You made this album all by yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I played it all, recorded it all, mixed it all.
You even have more than one instrument playing at the same time.
Yes.
So you have a band right there.
It's like a virtual band.
A virtual band.
A virtual band.
But we live very much in a virtual world.
We do.
I don't want to get into that, because fuck talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm saying... This is what I've just said. Forget that I even mentioned that.
Okay.
Tell me what you're looking for in a bandmate.
I'm looking for someone who... When I wrote like a blurb that was like what I'm looking for in a band. And
really?
Yes.
What can you tell us about that?
And I wrote that I think specifically the thing I said, I was like, do you like to groove? Do you like to make noises unpleasant to the human ear? Do you like to crawl through someone else's song and make it your own? Those are the three things that I'm looking for. I want a bandmate who will learn something that I give them, but feel confident enough to change it when we play it live.
I like that.
Like, I would never want to make a band where I'm like, all right, here's all. I mean, like, there are certain parts that I'm like, hey, I would like maybe we keep this, like something that feels integral to the song, for example. But if someone comes in and is like, yo, I changed the bass line for the chorus, I'll be like, awesome. If that feels better into your fingers, play it. Go for it. Just like that.
Yes.
Um,
I hate the free nature of music because it is an emotional art, and it's about what feels good.
Exactly. Like I mean, there's a certain element to my songs that I would like to keep, like a certain energy, I guess, to them. But if someone else is feeling something different, I'm not going to be like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, I'm like, no, let's follow that. Let's see if that's cool. Maybe that'll be better to play live. Like, maybe that'll feel really good for all of us. You know what I mean? Like, I've always, ever since I've had the idea for this band, which is all the way back in high school, the band was like, when I'm solo, like on the records, I'm Slapdash Punchline. But when we play live, we are all Slapdash Punchline. It's not me and then being backed by people. We're all the band.
You remember how I told you earlier what my creative flow is like nowadays?
I believe so.
I told you that it feels robotic, like
yes.
by remote control.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to be Slapdash Punchline, you're Slapdash Punchline, I would have to be Slapdash Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I were Slapdash Conspiracy,
mm-hmm.
I would not even be that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm so emotionally removed from the experience.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that I am emotionally involved in, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm emotionally involved in this conversation, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just focusing on this conversation so that it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that. I would like to think that I'm emotionally involved in that. Do you think that me, as somebody who is struggling with my emotions to even exist, I would have a place in Slapdash Punchline, or will I have to be Slapdash Conspiracy?
No, you can be a part of it. I think that's fine. I'm
glad that you say that, because I just wanted you. That's what I've been working towards, but I just don't have the time right now. Yeah. So I'm sorry. You're gonna have to find somebody who can play an actual instrument.
Yeah, I guess I never even mentioned that as being a part of it, so.
Yes, I got the groove. I can crawl into you easily.
Yeah.
What instruments are you looking? You say the traditional?
Bass, guitar. Clavicle. Piano.
I like that.
Yeah, those are the ones I'm looking for.
Did you have any piano parts on this album?
Yeah, there's a good chunk of electronic stuff on it.
Cool. I love that.
Yeah, it's a mix. I was going for a bit of some of it's a bit like, it's not necessarily industrial, but it's definitely, there's a good electronic sort of element to it.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm proud of it. I think it sounds pretty good. Yeah, no, I'm not looking for someone who's like I don't need someone to be more emotionally healthy than I am. I'm not super attached to my emotions either.
Do you feel, is her music at all therapeutic?
Incredibly so.
Do you feel like you put your genuine therapy work to good use? Should I have the same experience from therapy as you? Answer these questions in any order you want.
Yeah, not necessarily. Well, not necessarily. I mean, I think you take out of therapy what you take out of therapy. It's a very, individualized process. Mm-hmm. I think being more in touch with your emotions is always a good thing, even if it's hard to do.
And how about music as therapy?
Music as therapy? I mean, for me, it helps me immensely. It helps me immensely. I mean, this whole album is pretty much about me moving here. Not all of it, but most of it is about me moving here and kind of dealing with that. The first single that I released is me in, the whole thing is just about me in purgatory, which is what it felt like when I first moved here. And was
You moved here.
floundering. Yeah, when it was like post Wisconsin, and I was like sort of floundering in my head and in here, and I was like, I don't know where. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm in a state of limbo. And that's what that song's about. Now it's very, very therapeutic to write and work through. I mean, like creativity is in general just has helped me therapize a lot of things.
Do you still feel like this place, thinking that this is where you live now? Are you more comfortable with that?
Yeah, I'm moving again. I'm working on stuff again. I think I regressed a little bit in terms of my mental health. But I'm working again to get back.
Do you have any coping mechanisms?
So many coping mechanisms.
Music.
I have so many. Yeah, music is one. Other people. Media, whatever that is, music, movies, TV, YouTube, whatever.
I only have alcohol nowadays.
Ha.
What do you say to that? For people who are looking at that same situation.
I think that. I mean, that's not good.
But work with what you have, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you need, you should try. Okay. If to get through the day, you need it for a little bit. I understand.
I try to wait until later in the day.
That's good. I think if you're realizing that alcohol is a crutch, or any sort of substance is a crutch, like a crutch that is your only crutch.
Yes.
I think you have to, because you sort of have a set time until that crutch becomes way too. You lean on that crutch way too much.
Yes, I would say if I drank 3 days in a row, at that point, it's become too much of a problem.
Exactly.
Like that's like that 3 days in a row. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Where did those 3 days go?
Yeah, like that's a lot.
Like, it's not the time that you spend drunk; it's the time that you spend in bed afterwards.
Yeah.
Which is normally about 2 hours, which is a lot less than you would spend on a lot of the other drugs.
That's true. But
it's not ideal.
No, it's not ideal, exactly. I think you should. I think you have to look for other things to cope. Like, I think you actively need to find things that are less destructive to cope with.
I've given you a rundown of some of the situations. The creativity, or like the creation side of thing, feels robotic. The work side of thing, difficult for me to do.
Yeah.
And even this, the habitual use of substances, is not what I desired in the get-go.
Yeah.
I don't know what fourth one I have. I've told you.
Yeah.
I've told you my situation. Give me a fourth one.
A fourth? Well, I don't know what your fourth thing you're dealing with is. That's.
It'd be nice if school were happening right now.
Okay, there you go. In the interim, between when school is something that would be nice to have, and you're dealing with all this other stuff, I think you have to, and I was thinking about this yesterday actually. You have to come up with a list of most important to least important severity levels, whether positive severity or negative severity, right? So like, I think the first one is like, all right, is the substance. I think it's the most important thing you gotta work on.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So I think you have to figure out, and maybe that leads to something else. But you have to look at that and be like, okay, what is the underlying reason for me to be using that I'm using these substances? Okay, it's this thing. How can I fight that thing? Because you can't. I mean, there's also you can try to get away from the substances by replacing it with something else at the moment, like again, like getting into a creative thing.
Or cookies.
Cookies, yeah, cookies and milk.
Nice simple things.
Yes. Getting into working out or something, like something.
That's the healthier choice than cookies.
Yes, it is. Like something like that to replace it with. Trying to make sure my roommate wasn't sleeping or something. And then I think you have to. It's hard. It's hard work. It's really hard work.
No, I've done it before. He've been on worse things.
Yeah.
And he've genuinely stopped those, and I don't want to go back to those.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Like all other her forms of life, I've moved on to something else, and I don't think it's healthy. And I could see myself moving past that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping it's sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But I've seen some people who just get comfortable with these sorts of things.
Yeah.
The good news is I am not comfortable at any time. So very clearly, this may be a short-term thing.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you recognize all these things. You're aware of all these things. In somewhere in that therapy binder, it mentions that.
Yes.
You need to recognize these things before you can do anything about them. So it's very important that you recognize.
What the fuck did you say to me? Write a list.
Write a list.
Okay.
I said write a list. But write a list about. Talk to your therapist about this stuff. Like I'm not a therapist,
yes.
but I think writing a list, because you have a lot of things about yourself and your life that you want to change. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I always want to change, and everybody should.
Everybody should. Yes. Everybody has a whole list of things that they want to do, and it's very overwhelming. And I've found this especially recently that I get overwhelmed quicker than I thought. So you really gotta pinpoint the specific things that you're like, this needs to happen first. I can do all this other stuff later, but there's some things that it's just like I gotta work on.
Okay.
There's some specific there's in therapy right now there's a lot of guilt stuff that we're talking about because that's been like a through line through my life. And it's like that's a good thing to deal with first. Maybe like there's specific OCD things that I deal with all the time that it's like, all right, these are bad. But let's deal with this lifelong thing that keeps things growing. Let's deal with the heart of it instead of all the symptoms.
Okay.
It takes a long time, but I think that's the biggest thing to do.
I feel like a big aspect of that is who you're talking to know that you can talk with them about the hard things.
Yeah.
Instead of dance around.
Yes.
Like you get handed there are some therapists you get handed and you're like, this is not gonna cut it. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
You want to get to the heart of the issue. I want to get to the heart of the issue.
Exactly. So I think that's super important to do, because all that stuff just leads to other problems that you kind of deal with. That you deal with, I deal with, whatever it is. It's important. It's important to kind of figure that out. But it's hard. Again, and you've brought up problems that you have that you can put on a list and be like, well, I don't like this.
That's true.
And that's awesome.
There's shit on that list. There's shit on that list that kind of fell through the woodworks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the best part about that is that if I don't remember what the trauma is, then it does no damage.
That's how trauma works, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
That's my favorite part about trauma is the things that I'm not even aware of.
It's beautiful. That's good. I'm so glad.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's my father.
Well, that's good. Yeah. But, yeah, so,
I've been waiting all this time to bridge the topic of my father.
Okay.
But you're not my therapist.
I'm not.
So you don't even get to know.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever you want to talk about. Like, let's chill.